Hello and welcome back to Escaping Kerbin. In today's episode, we are setting out and finally taking advantage of that Duna transfer window that we've been waiting for so long. And in the last episode, we built a bunch of crafts to send out and take advantage of that transfer window as best as possible. We have 5 crafts in total. 3 of them were designed in the last episode. 1 of them we're going to design in the beginning of this episode, and then 1 of them is going to just have a sneak peek before we actually send it, because we don't have the footage of it being built originally. So our first thing we're going to do is we're going to check our contracts, because it'd be great if we could get paid for this trip to Duna in some way, even if just a little bit. But sadly, we don't have anything. The farthest we've gone is Midmiss, and as far as the game is considered, it just wants us to do stuff around there. But this is Escaping Kerbin. We've got better things to do than hang around Midmiss for the rest of the time. So here we are. We're just building a satellite. This is going to be a ScanSat to do a polar orbit around the planet and hopefully give us some good information about what we can find down there. Hopefully spot a good landing zone, that sort of thing. So here we are, we're just putting some of the scanning materials on there to coordinate with the stuff that's going to be on the ground as well. And I thought about putting some science experiments on there, but I chose not to. In the end, this is just going to be a ScanSat. We'll have plenty of time to collect experiments later. You gotta remember to put a reaction wheel in there, very important. Now we're gonna just build up the fairing, and this is going to be the first launch, the ScanSat. And the goal, hopefully, is that it will be the first one to arrive. However, this mission is very funky. It's not the most efficient path possible. Once again, this is our very first time going interplanetary. We went once before, but it was in a sandbox mode, so I don't really consider that an official landing. We've only just touched the surface of going interplanetary. So here we're just going to make one little adjustment to our probe craft, and these, once again, this is going to hold 3 probes to land at different spots on Duna. So we're just going to give it a little extra oomph in the transfer stage. So we got some small nuclear engines. We've got some liquid fuel. We're going to be putting fuel ducts on here so we can get some good asparagus staging going. We wanted to make sure that we have communication dishes on it so we can keep contact with it. And it doesn't necessarily have to rely on the probe's communication dishes. So then let's go ahead and organize our staging, and we should get ready to launch. Now for this, I'm going to mostly keep quiet. I'm going to let the video just kind of play out. There are better tutorials that I can never give as far as like how to go interplanetary, and I think they could do a better job. So for now, just if you don't know how to go interplanetary, I highly recommend checking out any tutorial. Really, you could just pop that in. There's plenty of YouTubers out there. But here we are. We've got 4 of the 5 launches. We're going to just keep in this format, all 4 screens. You can see which craft is which in the top left. And yeah, so we're just going to kind of follow these along. It took quite a long time to get everything going. I had about 11 hours worth of footage and had to manage to kind of squeeze it all down. But what I decided to do is we're going to keep the launches unedited, and these crafts will go from here to Duna by the end of this song. And as you can see, some of them take a more efficient flight path than others. On some of these I'm using MechJeb's auto ascent. Some of them I'm doing manually. So in the bottom right, the probe craft is already working on circularization. And as you can see, the bottom right is now all the way circularized and is now plotting a course out to Duna, the edge of the sphere of influence. While as the top left is working on circularizing, and then the other two are waiting to hit their apoapsis. In the bottom right, the nuclear engines kick on and get ready for the long burn. In the top left, we are now plotting our maneuver out to the sphere of influence. And same with the bottom left now. And I'm pleased to say that the communications network that we set up in the last, not the last episode, but the one before that, was able to keep connection to all of these crafts throughout the whole journey. And so that mission was paid for itself 3 times over. I guess it'd be 4 times over, because there were 4 crafts that it needed to control. Yeah, all 4 of these crafts are probe controlled. Okay, so now the left 2, well actually all of them now, are working on tightening up the transfer burn into the sphere of influence of Duna. And I was launching all of these relatively one after the other, and sometimes you can see in the map screen, you can see all 5 of them approaching the planet at once, and that's because we were just juggling these, going back and forth between them, trying to create the maneuvers and execute the maneuvers as they go, while still giving each other enough room that they're not bumping into each other's maneuvers, basically, so to speak. In the top right and the bottom left, we finally discard our lifting stage, and we are now going nuclear only. So once again, I had never gone interplanetary before, and I had not quite anticipated. I knew that you'd have to do some mid-course correction, but I had not anticipated how many times it could be adjusted further sometimes along your journey, and how much you have to really keep an eye on your trajectory. So as you see, our paths are now intersecting with Duna's sphere of influence at different altitudes and at different angles. Some of these are going to be coming in a polar orbit, such as the bottom right and the top left. Now, as you see in the bottom left, we had kind of missed our maneuver, and so we are now having to make an emergency correction. See, we are already at Duna here, and we have passed the periapsis. So we're now leaving Duna's sphere of influence. So we're going to have to make a horrendously inefficient burn to try to make it so we can stay. And the last of our lifting stages is gone, and Pack Explosives goes ahead and takes care of it all. And in the bottom right, the 3 probes are now arriving at Duna and working on their capture burn. You can see in the top right, it's slowly working on its capture burn as well. In fact, all 4 crafts are firing right now. So I'm not sure entirely how this happened, but our rover looked like it was circularizing, but somehow missed its mark and is now outside of Duna's sphere of influence. And so we are going to have to figure out how to burn to make those 2 meet up again. However, every maneuver that we're plotting so far is more fuel than we have. Our rover, unfortunately, did not make it. And the other unfortunate part about this is our ScanSat, while it did indeed successfully intercept Duna, it will not be able to circularize for a very long time. It's actually going to be the last of our crafts to make it, which is ironic because it was supposed to be the first. But there we are. We have 3 out of the 5 circle around Duna, and now that we have reached its sphere of influence, we have some missions that we can take in reference to it. So we're going to go here. Land on Duna is a big one. That's going to give us a lot of money, a lot of prestige, a lot of reputation, actually. Prestige is RP1. Here, we're going to go ahead and take that land on Duna. We're going to take the scientific data from around Ike. We're going to repurpose one of our probes. It was originally just going to land on Duna. All 3 were going to land on Duna. But we're going to take one and we're going to land it on Ike, I think. And we're also going to take the contract to orbit Ike because we're going to get that done in the same vein as well. So now there's some other contracts here, geological studies and stuff, but these require us to hit very specific locations and have very specific instruments on board, and currently we did not design a lander that could handle that kind of thing. I think we're going to start experimenting with helicopters, and I think that's going to be our next major leap in technology that we tried to get out to Duna. But that will be later. So now we have one more launch, and I did launch these at the same time, but for this launch I'm going to focus the whole screen on it because this is our crewed vessel. This is our science lab, our Duna research station, and this is going to land onto the surface, and it will not have enough fuel to get ourselves back. So the scientists are going to have to just be patient, have faith in our space agency that we can get them home. But for now, just giving you a little peek at it from underneath the fairing as we throw on some landing lights because we forgot to put any kind of lighting on this. And if we land in the dark, that would be very useful. So just adjusting some of the parameters real fast, and then I'm going to put it into 4-way symmetry, so that way all the other lights have the same parameters. And now I need to adjust the fairing a little bit because these lights are now peeking out through the sides of it, and I don't like that. Just back it up and lift it up a little bit more. And there we go. So this thing is ready now. So all we have to do is assign our crew, wish them luck, and we are going to put some Kerbals on the surface of Duna. We are going to escape Kerbin. So here we are. 1-star scientist and a 0-star scientist. 2-star pilot and 2-star engineer. So even though I did talk through quite a bit of the first launches, I'm just going to let this one speak for itself. See you at Duna. And because we didn't put any science experiments on this, the only thing that this craft is going to be able to do is a crew report and an EVA report, and then eventually when we get there, a surface sample. But we might as well put them to work on those experiments, get them running in the research lab. See, as you can see here, I've got all of my crafts heading there at once. We really wanted to maximize our window. Anyways, I'll let you get back to it. And because we're time warping, we almost skipped right on past it. There she is. Beautiful red planet herself, Duna. We will be setting foot in no time at all. First we gotta orbit. We could have done a flyby of Ike right there, but we decided not to. We're going to have our probe do that anyways. And oddly enough, this was actually the first craft to actually reach Duna out of the 5. So here we are. We're just going to finish off our circularization because currently our periapsis was within the atmosphere. We aren't ready to land just yet. That is going to be the mission for the next episode. We're finally going to put Kerbals on the surface of another planet. The whole reason, the whole mission, the whole goal of escaping Kerbin is right within our fingertips. And I'm so excited to share it with you. But anyways, that's where I'm going to leave today's episode. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you've been liking this journey that we've gone on from day 1 through our career mode all the way to where we are now and where we're going to be going soon. And if you did, please consider giving me a like, drop me a comment, let me know your thoughts, and I will see y'all in the next one. Take care.